Alright, I'm going to be going through a quick little presentation on how to make an effective presentation. My name is Mr. Dares, and here we go. I'm using Screencastify for this video. Let's start by talking about the font size. Whenever we create our slides, we want to make sure that the font size for the body is somewhere between 22 to 32. If it's too small, it ends up meaning that the audience can't read the text. And if it's too big, it makes it look awkward. Try and make sure that your titles are between 32 and 40. The font style should be nice, clean look. You need to also make sure that it's something which is very easy for the audience to read. Remember, the audience should be able to read your stuff, and that's one of the main purposes of having your slides. If it's too stylish, it's hard to read, and you lose the translation of the information that you're presenting to the audience. So here's some examples. On the left side, a very clean example. On the right side, it's too stylistic, and it makes it look a little bit awkward and harder to read. You also want to really make sure that you're using point form bulleted points. And what we talk about and when we discuss bulleted points, these here on the left side are bullets. And you want to you're trying to kind of make a cue for your presentation to ensure that what you're saying is about a 20-80 ratio. So what that says is that 20% is on the sides and the other 80% of what you're talking about is verbal. Too many points on one side can make it overwhelming, and you should try and maximize at 6. You shouldn't have full sentences. They should be a small part of what you're actually trying to say. Again, there's a 20-80 ratio. You don't see that on this set of slides because I've already incorporated that into what I plan to talk about. Make sure it's not too text heavy. And that's kind of coming back to the last set of slides. Having too much text can be overwhelming. Your slides should be concise, and this means that they should provide only kind of the information that you kind of need as a cue up to try and get you talking about things that you actually know you're going to be talking about a little bit more. And don't be afraid to have white space on the outside. Sometimes what ends up happening is a lot of students will end up putting a whole bunch of text on the outside and try and cram a whole bunch of stuff in, and this just makes it quite a bit harder to read and see. The theme should be nice, clean, simple, clear, organized, and ideally you're picking colors which will match what you're talking about. For example, if you're talking about something related to snow, you're probably going to be doing something which is blue, white. And typically what you'll find is that if you're doing something which is red and fiery, it doesn't really match. And sometimes less is more. Too much color or graphics can take away from the actual text of the presentation itself and the main message. And as we kind of conclude here, I'd ask you, what's wrong with this? Something which is really good in presentations if you're not doing recording is to try and get the students or the audience involved in what you're actually presenting. In this case, there's too much text, there's too many bullet points, there's full sentences, it's overwhelming, it's too small. There are many different problems with this. That being said, that concludes my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed.